All right, welcome to another episode of Formula One Fanatics. Today we're going to talk about Yuki. So it looks like Yuki may not be coming back next year. We're not 100% sure. He struggled this year. And to be fair to him, everybody who's come to that team has struggled. Today I'm not going to try to analyze whether he's worse than Checo or Ricardo or who else has been on that team, Albon or who was the latest? Oh, Lawson. I would actually say Lawson is probably the one who did the worst, but I'm being biased here. But the point we're going to talk about today is that Gasly has come out and said something which is very, very kind of controversial. He's basically hinting that there are things. He sounds a little bit like Lewis Hamilton, which may give us some light on Hamilton. What Hamilton said. He said there are things that he knows about Red Bull and that Yuki has told him behind the scenes that he can't tell you. So here are his quotes. This is Gasly. What's tricky is my time. A lot of things can't be said because you're a driver, you're working for a team, and as a professional, you can't share all the information on the specific situations, the Alpine driver told Racing News. Talking with Yuki, I know some stuff that can't be said, and it's not easy. It's not easy to be in this situation. You try to do the best for the team, and sometimes you get given something to make it work, and sometimes you're in a situation where, for different reasons, it can't quite work the way you like. All Gasly can do is support Tsunoda as a friend. I mean, that's what he's saying. Okay. So knowing from experience, I just tried to chat as a friend and advise and help him out. So he's been saying a lot of things. I don't know if he's just making excuses for Yuki because he said you're giving things to try to work and they don't quite work. To me, some people are saying that maybe they're using Yuki as a guinea pig, or Gasly saying he was used as a guinea pig. But that doesn't sound like a guinea pig because if it was just a guinea pig, they would be like, oh, here, okay, drive this and see if it works for the other driver. But it seems like they're saying, try this for yourself and see if it works. And to me, it just sounds like maybe uh, they're not able to get the specs that Yuki needs or that he wants, or maybe they're giving him a car different to what they're giving Verstappen. My best will say that he just doesn't have the same machinery, or he may not be getting the updates. But it sounds weird because it also sounds like maybe they're just not giving him the adjustments that he wants, or maybe they're not getting good feedback from him, or the feedback he's giving him them they're not following, or he's just frustrated and feels they put more of their energy into solving problems for Verstappen and building the car around him. I can't really go by what this guy's saying because it's cryptic, but we can speculate. What do you think, Kunle?
Well, first of all, I'll tell Gasly to focus on his
Yeah.
own issue. But let's look at this problem that's going on properly. Red Bull is like a red dwarf star, shining brightly, and it's about to go into supernova and die a horrid death. So I think maybe on their way to bowing out, and they probably know they're going to bow out. They want to bow out with some aplomb, and the only thing that's going for them is Verstappen. They are
Yep.
totally focused on Verstappen because that's where Red Bull is now. That's their survival. Once he's gone, I don't see Red Bull coming back. I don't see any driver being able to take their car into the top five, much less championship material. So they're out. They're not going to the Red Bull car one and car two. They're going to be competing with the likes of Colapinto once Verstappen is out. That's where they're going to be near the bottom.
Not as
So
far. They're going to be fighting Chevrolet for the bottom. Oh,
Sonoda, Sonoda shouldn't take it personally. I think that it was going on. It happened to Lawson, happened to Perez, and it was quite severe with Lawson and himself because of the fact that he came in mid-season and didn't even get to start and test the car and prep himself for the season in that car.
yeah.
Okay, yes, fair enough. He's in another Red Bull company car, but it's not the same team. It's not the same dynamics. He's not had time to gel. You're halfway through the season. You're picking up a second car that hasn't been performing. It's not the way that you want to. You know you're not going to fight for anything. The season is already lost before it began. There's so many demotivating factors at play that would be affecting Sonoda stepping into that Red Bull
Yeah.
mid-season.
And
Um,
I
so
think he was
so
humbled also. He was humbled because he
yeah,
was doing well with the other team. And I think he came in. I'm not dissing, but he came in. Oh, I can do this. I know how to do high speed corner. We got this, man. Get it there. First week sends it into the wall. No, let's not forget about that also. Can we continue? Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they should have come in immediately that Perez left. He was already doing well and he was already looking like he could have been the real deal. And they should have focused more on driver two. You cannot put all your hopes and efforts into one car in Formula One. It won't work. Your second driver needs to he needs to be not more than about two or three, maybe maximum five places behind you. I think that there shouldn't be a gap of more than five between you
Yeah,
and
but,
your.
but the thing is that they've already built this car for Verstappen, and while they built it for him to make it so pointy and everything, I always say it. I don't think he was giving them the right feedback because Verstappen's a great driver, but he doesn't drive slow corners properly. So that's what made the car become imbalanced. But Checo was driving well, but Checo's warned them early that they need to start changing. That's where they made the mistake by not listening to Checo. But at this point, the way that car is so pointy, even Albon, who's a great driver, said that there's no way you're going to be within 0.2 of a second with Verstappen on that car because the car is so sensitive and so fast and high strung that only a superhuman could drive it. So it's sort of like me driving. I do better driving a Volvo rather than driving a Ferrari Testarossa. Because have you ever tried driving that type of car? As soon as you press the 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 gas, once you press the accelerator, if you're not a really good driver, that accelerator can drive you into the wall. So maybe you should just give me a slower car like a Mercedes sports car rather than a Ferrari Testarossa. So the thing is, that car is so sensitive that nobody can keep up with them. But it's actually fast. But it has a low window because Verstappen was winning races. It has a
The
low
clutch.
window. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Can Formula One drivers, the days of controlling the clutch, those are the days where you now
No,
are
I'm
in a
using that as
position.
an example. It's not the clutch here, but the inputs on Verstappen's car. They said the inputs on his car
Yeah,
are
yeah.
three times
I
more
know.
than even.
I'm
Let me give you
saying
an example. I'll give you an example. The inputs on his car are three times more sensitive than the inputs even on Norris's car, which means that if you try to move that steering wheel, unless you move it it's like having power steering versus hard steering. Unless you are really skilled, you won't be able to do it. Go ahead. It's not
oh
about
yeah,
clutch.
I saw Top Gear, a Top Gear show where the little one, Hammond,
Yeah. He's braking.
is frozen.
Okay. Yeah, but yes, Mr. John, the point I was making is that I'm not making excuses for them, but what I'm saying is that the type of car that Verstappen likes, I think that maybe only
And he couldn't get and he was in a.
he's braking and he doesn't even know he's braking.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay. So yeah, so the point I was trying to make, Mr. Johnny, is that that car is very, very sensitive. Maybe a Leclerc could drive it, and maybe this guy could learn how to drive it, Piastri. But that car is very, very, very sensitive. Also, Norris. I think Norris likes to have fast input and output. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're breaking. So we'll go back to you, Clint. What are your thoughts, Mr. Johnny? Yeah.
Yeah, if I want to be mean, I would just say, what's his name? Pierre Gasly is like talking a lot of exhaust, you know.
Yeah, he's a Pierre.
But
You know, he was.
to be fair, they're kind of right that Verstappen is being favoritized. But yes, that's the whole game. It was always like that, you know. The car is kind of like built for Verstappen. And again, we all know that because of a lot of problems, there's a lot of problems, as in. So I'm sure Yuki even knows, and he's just trying to just make by, like you said, the car is very sensitive, and you know, Yuki is a new guy. He just came up into Formula One, Formula One from Formula Two, and so he's not that skillful. So yeah, um, it's all because of the problem from from Red Bull engineering and what they have the problems in the background
Yeah.
that's been that's
I'm back,
affecting.
guys. Sorry about that. I had to switch internet providers.
Yeah. So what we're talking about, Johnny, we'll come back to you. Go ahead, Mr. Johnny. Yes.
Yeah, it's basically the problems that Red Bull have, and that's affecting Yuki's performance. So I don't think Yuki's that anyone should look at Yuki as like a bad driver or anything. You know.
No. The only thing I would say is that see Yuki. I don't want to call him naive, but he's been a superstar. He was a good as a junior driver and everything, and he did very well with racing bulls. The only thing I think is that he had that Japanese pride where he thought he was going to come and dominate. He wasn't realistic. I don't think Yuki had realistic expectations jumping into Red Bull, like Kunle said, 6 races in. And on top of that, Yuki also likes to have a stable back. Because I remember in Imola, Verstappen said, take away the rear end and just give me pure front.
Pure front energy.
And Yuki said the opposite. I need more rear. I need more rear. You see what I'm trying to say? So, but he won't admit. He won't admit that he needs more rear because he's not psycho like Verstappen. Verstappen can have a loose rear. You know what Verstappen basically is doing, like a reverse wheelie with his car. You know, when
he throws those rear around, right?
You move the front, you make the rear in the air, but use the front tires. You know, reverse wheelie.
Yeah.
That's what Verstappen is basically doing, and he's using the grip of the front tire. That's psycho, but that's why he wears out his tires. You know.
Yeah.
So I think that Yuki, what it is that Yuki had that pride, the Japanese pride, that I'm good. I think he really thought he was going to go toe to toe with Verstappen. Then later on he said, "I'm not getting the same car as Verstappen." There's many reasons for that. It might be because you couldn't drive the same car as him, or it might be because
he might get killed driving that kind of same car with Verstappen.
Or a mixture of both. You can't do that, and also he gets priority on upgrades because they have limited resources. You know, that's
It's not only that the car that he picked up in car 2. A lot of the settings were particular to Lawson, so it's not just that.
And we have to remember that also. One of the reasons he didn't get upgrades on time is because he put the car far behind by crashing into the wall. I'm not saying that crash he had into the wall was weird. We don't know what caused it. I think it was the curbs. The curbs of that car is very delicate on the curb. But once he crashed that car, also not only was he with specs of Lawson, he put himself 3 weeks behind in getting the parts that he needed to be on par with
Red Bull. Yeah, Red Bull will be making a mistake to get rid of Tsunoda if they plan to still remain in the Formula One game, because they're not going to get as good a high-profile driver as Tsunoda.
But here's the thing:
no one's going to want to join them.
But here's the thing: I think they have 2 rookies who are just as good, if not better than him. They have Hadja, so it's time to move Hadja because they're going to bring in. Let me tell you why. They're going to bring in what's that boy's name? Lindblad, who's supposed to be the next Verstappen. So now that they're bringing in Lindblad, he's going to be with Lawson. So they only have a choice, and then they're going to move up Hadja because it's clear that no matter how good Yuki's probably not going to get much better. Hadja is still a rookie. So if Verstappen's there, then they have a choice. Who do they want to get rid of? Lawson or Yuki? They'll probably get rid of Yuki.
I don't know about Hadja's ceiling. And Antonelli and Bierman were the next.
I hate to say this though. We just said Hadja's the best rookie coming in F1. He's better than Antonelli right now. He's as good as Bortoleto. So we can't be questioning his ceiling. We can't be questioning Hadja's ceiling. I'm not saying that Yuki's no good, but Hadja right now is in the debate as the best rookie in Formula One.
It's all gonna start off next season with all the new rules and new changes.
But here's my thing. I'm not going to lie to you. No disrespect to Yuki, but if you ask me as an investor, who would I invest in for the future, Yuki or Hadja? I'll invest for Hadja because Hadja is younger, and it seems like Yuki might have reached his ceiling. What about you, Johnny?
Yeah, for me, Hadja is my favorite actually.
Yeah,
I've seen him. Like I've said it before. I've seen his out of the names from the rookies. He's the ones I usually see his name up there with, in the top 10. He's really up there. So.
And that's not to diss Yuki, because if Yuki was a rookie and Hadja was a rookie, then I'll say I don't know. But looking at it now, and also they're bringing Lin back. So the only thing they can do now is that if they kick Lawson out and put Yuki. But have you guys ever heard of this? Let's say that I'm the vice president. Let's say I'm the chief. I'm the second to the vice president of a company. The company won't demote me because I'm better than a rookie. Like, let's say so Lawson is rubbish. But they won't demote me and put Lawson because there's a rule in corporate world. If you go up and up, once you refuse to get another promotion, you're out. You understand? They're not going to demote. You don't see that happening. You understand what I'm trying to say? So we all know that Yuki is a better driver than Larson. But once you've been promoted, like Yuki, it doesn't make sense to now demote you again, because it means your time in that company is finished, because you're not going to rise anymore. He's not going to have a second chance to rise in Red Bull. What do you think, Kunle?
Yeah. Well, it is looking kind of difficult for Yuki. And even if, as you say, these other drivers are more highly rated, in particular Hadja, who's to say that they want to be at Red Bull next season or the seasons after? Red Bull is a real mess.
Yeah. But we have to give them a try. You know what they say?
These drivers, if they're that good.
So here's what I say: keep trying until you find the right one. So if Haji doesn't work, throw him away too. You understand what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
but the advantage that they had with Sunoda is his age, seniority, and experience, and professionalism and predictability. And even if he's going to remain there and be driver two to a faster driver, I think that they should have kept Sunoda, and then if they can get a faster driver than Sunoda, and if they can't, at least they've got Sunoda. But I
Yeah, but
do
the problem is they have
think
losses. And
if they risk losing both drivers in one season, they're going to start from scratch in terms of nobody in their team has ever done a Formula One race, and they're
let's
both
keep it real.
next
Let's keep it
season.
real.
Sorry.
Let's keep it real. Yeah,
And
sorry.
that's
Let's,
the decision
yeah.
itself. It's always good for at least one person to have a bit of experience so that they can help the other person when they're stepping in. When you're having both drivers stepping in as rookies to the team, and a team that's already been gutted of its engineers and leaders, it's going to be
Yeah,
really,
but here's the
really.
question. Let's be real. I like Yuki, okay? But is Yuki a team? Let me tell you what Yuki is. Yuki is Naruto. Let me play my game. He's not a team leader. He'll drive well by himself, but do you really see Yuki as being a team leader that you could build that whole team around? I'm not talking about his driving. I'm talking about his personality. He's a fun guy. I just don't see it.
Even he can even remain there as driver two. He doesn't necessarily need to be driver
Yeah,
one.
okay, they can do that. But here's the thing: if they do that, then they're going to retard the growth of Haja. That's the problem.
And Haja comes in as driver one, that's fine. But I do think that they need
You
the
still have
stability.
Verstappen. See, the problem, let me tell you the truth. If I were Red Bull, and I'm not exaggerating, they should let Verstappen go. It's not going to work. And then focus on building up. Lauren McKee is the new guy. They should focus on building up, what's his name now? Lindblad, Haja, and like you said, Yuki. And let Verstappen. The reason I say so is because it's not going to go well. Verstappen hasn't been on the podium for 4 weeks now. They don't have resources, and he doesn't. He's already talking to Mercedes, so they have to be realistic. It's going to be painful to let him go, but they have to let him go because the team has been ruined. I'm beginning to think they made a big mistake firing Horner.
Oh, it's
You get my
becoming
point.
with every race.
They
That
made a
Horner,
big mistake, and they
I
did
mean,
it. The reason they did it is because Matish's son. This guy is 30 years old. Matish died. His son becomes and wants to be the big boy, and so I don't need to. I can walk out of my dad's footsteps. I don't need to make Horner. I don't need to make Horner a shareholder. I think now they're seeing because I believe that Horner would have found a solution for this problem. What do you think, Mr. Johnny? Yeah.
I think if what's his name, Verstappen is going to go, they're not going to have any problems with looking for drivers. Everybody just step
Yeah,
up.
and they can rebuild the team. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think like most likely Verstappen is going to leave. He's probably going to drive, but they said he's going to drive for 2026, right?
Yeah, next year, but he may be able to walk out of his clause and then join 2027.
yeah, exactly. I mean, he finished ninth last race. He's beginning to get the kind of form that will allow him to leave as a free agent. And even if he doesn't leave as a free agent and you have to pay for him, they might still have to let him go, even if he finishes up there. They might still have to let him go to a
Yeah.
team if
So
they want him.
for them, I would start fresh because they've done it before. Remember when they lost Vettel? Vettel left and they were bad for some years, but then Verstappen came. So now they should focus on Lindblad and focus on the future and build. You know what they say? Like when you start from zero, like let's say we start from zero. Let's say today we say we had 10 problems wrong with our show, sound, blah, blah, blah. So what we say is, okay, our show is rubbish, but tomorrow sound will be good. Then once sound is good, then content, then blah, blah. So what they should do is just start building because that's how you become good. It's just like math, what they call recursion in math. You start with small operations and you build on top because it's clear that they need to be realistic and start all over again. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think this is start. Sorry, well,
Go
I
ahead.
think
Go
this is
ahead,
start
John.
the car. It's just
Yeah.
the car. As long I think once they just have their car back, a good car that they can.
And they should
That's
start now
faster.
focusing on next year. All right, so let's
Yeah.
quickly go to the one more thing so that we'll cover two shows in one, but this will be like 5 minutes.